for drinking Hopped and Loaded, and they are by 105 West Brewing Company or Brew Co. And they are out of Castle Rock, Colorado. And as we mentioned earlier, we actually have one of the partners or co-owners, and he's here to talk with us.
He's also the head brewer.
Yes. Sorry.
That's probably the most important.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's bring him in and he can introduce himself.
There we go.
I did not.
There we go.
I don't know why everyone gives me this job of like, Tiffany, just keep going. Like, because every time I mess it up.
Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you can see, his nickname, he goes by Jellyman, which as we were emailing back and forth, I wasn't sure who I was going to get on camera when we first linked up today to figure out the show. So where does Jellyman come from?
Jellyman comes from when I started brewing. I started brewing at the West Brewing Company here in Castle Rock, Colorado. And the kitchen staff couldn't quite pronounce my name. It's Swedish, Kjell. And it pretty much just was always jelly this, jelly that, and became Jellyman shortly after.
Nice, but it's pronounced Chell, right?
Correct.
Oh my God, look. So he
Nailed
told me
it.
that, but it looks like I just know, like, of course it's pronounced that.
And even before the show started, he was like, Tiffany, what is it? And I was like, the
wait,
J is
Chell,
an
right?
H. The J is an H.
Never happened. Never happened.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I could comprehend it and be consistent with it, but I'm sure I'd mess it up eventually. Also, so
many comments.
Phil is in a dungeon. You are in a garage, I think.
Yeah.
Correct.
I love it. I think this will be our first garage setup.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Phil
well,
was in
except
a
for
garage.
those episodes where I was in a garage.
Yeah.
Because,
And the garage door actually went up behind him.
yes. But you are in a garage, and I got to ask, when you first started brewing, did you brew out of a garage by chance?
First time brewing was in the kitchen. It was a stout. And first boil over, next thing I was doing was brewing in the garage. That made sense.
Now, did you homebrew for quite some time, obviously, before really getting into the game?
I did. I homebrewed for several years before I took part in Sewell Institute in Chicago.
Okay.
Nice brewing course. And shortly after getting out of that, actually, I applied and got into Rockyard Brewing Company in Castle Rock.
Okay, very cool.
I started Rockyard 2010, January.
Okay.
Now,
So-
would you recommend going to a school like this to kind of learn
Absolutely.
your craft? Yeah.
Highly recommended.
Because
And
otherwise
Siebel is-
you're making so many mistakes.
I'm sorry?
Because then otherwise you're making just numerous mistakes over and over again to try to perfect it.
That's another way of learning for sure. Yeah.
Welcome to How I Learn.
Yeah. We have each individually tried to brew and all have failed. So they say if you can't do it, just talk to people who can.
Right.
Pretty much. I just like to enjoy the fruits of everyone else's labor.
Correct.
All right. So you started homebrewing, or no, you started at the Castle Rock Brewing Company, or what was it, in 2010?
Rockyard Brewing Company.
Okay, in Castle Rock.
Yep.
So that was 2010. When did you join up with 105 West?
I joined forces with Eric and 10 other people. That was in November 2015, first week.
Okay.
Nice. You've been there a good little while now then. That's good.
Well, coming up on 6 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's your favorite beer you've made there?
My favorite beer that I've ever made here.
Yeah.
In my garage.
No.
Oh, no.
At 105.
Either one.
Well, yeah, I'll take either option. Yeah, sure.
I always go to my namesake beer, the Jelly the Elder Double IPA.
Oh, interesting.
Is that like a staple, or does that come about once in a lifetime? How does that work?
Comes out a couple times a year.
Nice.
It comes out on draft and in cans.
Very cool.
Distributed throughout Colorado. We're not distributing outside of out of Colorado itself yet.
Yep.
Now, I want to ask, because I saw that in 2011, when you were at Rockyard, you made a Brett beer. And we had a faux Brett beer on one of our shows a little while back. So I had never really heard about Brett's, because the way this show works is I don't know that much about beer, and these two know a little bit more. So it's fun because I get to learn all about it.
Sure.
And so I kind of didn't really know much about Brett, so I was reading all about it. Would you explain to me kind of like, because I know since you've made one, what is that process like? What are some of the problems with it? Kind of explain Brett beer to me.
Brett is a regular cerveza. It is yeast. It's a wild yeast, though.
Yeah, it gets a little crazy, right?
A little more aggressive, right? It can handle extremes than your delicate variety of yeast that you can buy off the shelf. Of course, you can buy Brett now as well, but a lot of people are scared of it because it's so invasive. It can get into everything, and it can take high temperatures, low temperatures. It can live in your keg, in your refrigerator, and continue to do its job at those temps. When other yeasts go dormant and stop. If you don't do a great job cleaning your keg out, you could have a potential problem and infestation in your draft system and contaminate your keg, your other brewing equipment. So if you don't have your cleaning dialed down, then it's going to possibly run rampant. But then again, you're going to have other problems as well.
Funky beers, but not the good kind of funky.
Yeah, not the good funky.
If you don't know how to clean.
Right. Go the breweries that put them out because they're like, they're kind of question beers.
Yep.
But Brett is just another yeast. Treat it like another yeast, and you'll do fine. You can kill it, you can denature it, you can do everything just like normal chemicals, and you'll be fine.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think that's also, I know a lot of folks in our area, when they put out a Brett or some of the, like the farmhouse or, other styles of beers like that, they do them in relatively smaller batches. Like we didn't make like a huge production line of this. This is just for in-house. We made, one small tank of it and we called it a day.
Or they consistently only use a certain tank for the Brett beers or farmhouse like styles.
Right. You'll often see Brett used in sour beers. Sour Brett is used in conjunction with lactobacillus and pediococcus. Pediococcus, when it's going through its process, produces sewage-like flavors and aromas, and Brett is the garbage man, so to speak, and cleans those up.
Huh.
That makes sense.
Interesting, yeah.
You don't have to be nearly as anal about Brett as you do the bacteria. The bacteria is serious shit.
Interesting.
We're on the show or not?
No, we've had what was the one that we had? You might have heard of it because it's a production.
It was a faux Brett.
It was a faux Brett.
I can't remember who made it. Was it Duke? No, it wasn't Dewclaw.
I can't remember.
I don't remember.
It was Hoodwink, and I think it was Dewclaw.
It was Dewclaw. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And I was like, we've been hoodwinked.
Right. Look, Tiffany made a great joke. She wrote about it in her journal later that night.
Yep. And I got to use it again multiple shows later.
Nice.
And right after the show, I went out and got a real Brett because I was like, I got to figure out what this is supposed to taste like. And,
Right. Yeah, because it was, I was disappointed because I feel like Brett is a really hard, trying to make an actual Brett ale or, it's much more difficult. You can't make it without using Brett. I don't know. It's got a different flavor. So it was very mild and boring as far as the beer goes.
Yeah, Brett is described as horse blanket, sweaty cow. All those
feces, I believe. Isn't that one of them?
No.
No, I thought that I read that. Well, let's get into let's learn a little bit more about 105 West. Let's get into some, what is it called? History and facts,
I think, yeah. Which is really just, we don't even really do history and facts. We just usually go into trivia at this point, but I don't think we'll ever get rid of that slide.
No,
it's from the first episode. We've never changed it.
No. Well, because originally it was history and facts, and then trivia was part of it. But then we ended up just going straight to trivia because it makes it easier, to be honest, of structuring the history and facts around trivia. So every answer has a couple sentences of, data.
History and facts.
Right.
Makes sense.
So, for those who are joining us for the first time, this is obviously the point in the show where we go into some trivia to pull out some like fun facts and history about the brewery, the beer, the people involved, things like that. So, if you are logged in to YouTube, you can actually comment alongside. There is a slight delay, so I apologize, but you can play trivia with us, and I will do my best to wait for your answers before ruining the surprise.
I always wait for Vero to answer so I can make sure I'm right.
Yeah, so we usually wait until at least, some people have answered.
Here we go.
Cool.
All right. So, what year did 105 West Brewing open their doors? 2012, 2015, or 2015 or 2017? Now, for those of you who've been listening.
Well, he said that's when he came on board, but that doesn't necessarily mean.
Then he said some more afterwards. So, for those of you who are listening.
I mean, well, then I guess I have to say C. Yeah.
I'm going with B. I'm going to go with 2014.
Okay. Well, Lucy also says C.
Pharaoh says C.
Pharaoh says C.
Well,
Kat
I guess
says
I'm wrong.
C. Good.
Yeah.
They were all listening.
All right, everybody.
Everybody's paying attention. Answer is C.
Nice.
Clearly, I am not paying attention.
So you mentioned there was like 8 others that also like.
There's 12 total. So
okay.
Friend and the majority owner, Eric Seifert, had approached several of his friends in the community, both within the business that he was in previous and in the beer community, for help. And I was one of the ones that he asked help from. So.
Did you join right away as the head brewer?
No.
Okay.
No, I came on board recipe development and brewery production and build out knowledge. This is where I was doing it at the Rockyard production facility that we built. So I had a lot of knowledge on that side.
Now, I always think about this with some of my brewers around here that we're pretty tight knit with, because obviously when somewhere starts, they typically have a head brewer. Chances are, if they've been around long enough, they may have cycled through a head brewer and have a new head brewer. Do you ever like get a beer that you have to make that maybe wasn't your original but is now a staple? Is that weird? I think that would be weird.
That absolutely, and you guys hit on it earlier. So I tend to lean towards the hoppier side, and then there's 3 of us, and then one goes towards the malty side. He actually developed an English mild that didn't come out exactly the way we wanted. So we decided that we were going to put some ingredients into this keg, and 2 of the ingredients were peanut butter and hazelnut. And from that keg came these nuts.
I'm sorry?
From that keg came these nuts.
I just wanted you to say it again. For those of you who are not familiar.
Right now, came these nuts, and people couldn't get enough of it.
God, the amount of times I've said that.
Yeah, so they have a beer called These Nuts that myself and Tiffany and Phil have all had. So we were discussing that earlier as well.
People kept wanting to put them in their mouth. They bring them to their family.
It's got to be a real problem. I can't imagine.
Share them with their family.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yep.
Okay. So that's one of the recipes that you're now following.
So that's an example of a beer that I didn't design myself, but has become something of a monster. It's insane.
Nice.
These
Nuts has a crazy following.
Trust me, I'm aware.
I have to imagine that gets slightly annoying at the bar sometimes.
Oh no.
I brew beer. I don't really work at the bar very much.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is all a fun joke now. Still. All right. So what do we got next?
All right. So why 105 West? So 1 or A, it's their brewery's address. B, it's the founder's childhood address. C, it's the physical location on a map. D, it's the highway closest to the brewery.
I feel like all of these could be correct, and that's always difficult for me, which
I made
means
this
you
one
did
a little
well.
bit
Yeah,
harder.
I did well.
That's my favorite when I find ones that are either just so outrageous that I'm like, obviously no one's going to pick this one, but it's really fun to say out loud. Or I try and do this where they're all relatively difficult.
Okay, Vero's going C, which makes me want to say C.
I'm going C with this because I feel like if it was like an address, it would be West something else. So
Like,
there'd be a full street.
West Alameda.
It's
Yes.
West Brewing.
So I'm going with C because I think it's just maybe like a coordinate or something or something of that nature.
I might as well just throw a wrench into it. I'm going to go with B. It's the founder's childhood address. He grew up in a one-street town, west or east. I lived on west.
And he just gave away his parents' address to everyone.
They're getting so much spam mail.
So many D's nuts are just arriving at 105 West.
So what is it?
The answer is C.
Of course it is. Vero guess C.
So 105 degrees is roughly the longitude. It runs up and down the Front Range. So not to be disloyal to the town that we're in, if that's of Castle Rock, but we wanted a brewery name that wouldn't be just Castle Rock. We could potentially open up additional tap houses or breweries in other locations, still be west. The closest highway to us is I-25, so that would be an entirely different brewery.
That'd be a whole different name. I don't know.
Now, if you opened up more, could you only open them on that one longitude line?
I'm sorry?
If you opened up more, could you only open them on 105 West? Like you'd have to only go north and south.
Oh, Phil, we could do whatever we want to do.
They brewed a beer called These Nuts, Phil. You think they're worried about?
I mean, but that would be kind of fun if you only had bars that just were on that line.
But then everyone would
We
know
have,
the
we
answer.
have a homebrew club that's 39 north, which is the latitude.
Interesting.
Oh, interesting. Hope that's not a trivia question.
It's not. No.
All right.
That
I
is
hope
fun.
it is,
That
because I was
fun.
at least listening.
All
All
right.
right. So, true or false, 105 West's menu is divided into 3 categories. So, lighter beers, the red, brown, amber color range, and then dark beers.
I have to be honest with you. We had a conversation about this one prior to the show starting.
Why you gonna ruin it, Daniel?
With Jellyman here. So I know this answer, but I'm going to wait for Vera to answer and just fingers crossed 50-50 shot she's wrong. God damn it.
Nope. Pharaoh's never wrong.
All right. But, see, here's good logic, though. He did say 3 brewers, so that is good logic as well.
They brew different beers. He did say that.
Ah, interesting.
It's almost like I researched.
Someone's cheating, too. Looking at the site now. So we had this conversation, Jellyman, but give us the actual answer and why.
So the answer is that's how it started. Maybe I misled you in the beginning. That's how it started. It started as lighter reds and browns for us because we didn't know what the market was going to want. We kind of threw out those individuals. If you look at our menu now, it's broken out into stouts and browns, IPA, Belgians, reds. So it is broken up like that. So
Nice.
there's some truth to it for sure, but it has changed and morphed along the way. So we have the ability to change that as we go through.
You guys can do whatever you want.
Right, as you said.
Yeah.
I'm listening now. See?
Wow, good job, Phil.
Right, only took you 28 minutes.
Hey, wait. What question of trivia was that?
That was 3. Trying to
Jackpot.
open a beer.
All right,
Oh,
so
great.
usually this part of the show, just to give us a little bit to digest the beverage, we're going to go ahead and open this. I'm sure Phil's going to talk about can art at some point, but
These nuts.
no. This is hopped and loaded.
Wrong color.
It's been sitting between these nuts while we've been filmed, but
Oh, no. I warmed it up. Don't do that.
So anyway, we're gonna have a taste of the beer as we continue on through trivia, so that we can get an idea of what's going on in there, and we can have Jellyman here talk about it afterwards.
For those of you who have not been drinking already, one, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, why
Two,
do you even watch the show?
do you want me to pour that for
I got
you?
it. Nailed it.
Oh,
I'm really bad at pouring beer.
It's-
It's phenomenal for someone who drinks so much beer.
well, the thing is, he always drinks out of the can.
Or I pay someone to pour it for me.
You never pay me.
Hey,
Hey. All right, true or false? Every Friday, the staff taps a new beer for the Bare Naked Friday release. This is another one I want to be true.
I want this to be true. Yeah.
Yeah. Although I do think it's like every Friday, like you tap a new beer. That's pretty great. I don't know how your system setup is. Every Friday you release a new beer. I hope that's true. So I'm gonna go with true.
I'm going to go with true as well, just because I think that
Okay.
I just want it to be so much. So
Right.
I figure if I say it's true, it will be true.
Well,
And
Vero
Vero
says
says
it's
it's
true.
true. So
Right.
we're good.
Put that energy out into the universe, Phil. Eventually, it'll come back.
It'll come back to you.
But I do want to hear more about Bare Naked Friday if this is a thing as well.
Phil,
So-
no one guessed you wanted to hear more about that aspect of it. This is a true or false question.
The bear part, love it. The naked part, love it. So, Jellyman, tell us all about that.
Bare Naked Friday is absolutely true.
And you
Yeah.
release a new one every week?
Every single Friday, we tap a new beer of at least a 15-gallon keg.
Nice.
Wow.
So
I've been doing that since I started at the Rock Yard in Casper.
very cool.
So
Take
what is
note,
being
other
what's being
breweries.
tapped what's being tapped tomorrow?
Tomorrow's being tapped is a hazy IPA tropical called Wiggle It.
Wiggle it.
25 IBUs. It's heavy pineapple and citrus fruit, tropical fruit, hazy. It's absolute. If you like hazies, it's heaven.
Nice.
I was gonna say, it sounds
I love-
delicious.
Yeah, I love pineapple, especially in the hazies. That's
I'm not sure why I call it, but it's like the Wiggles and Captain Feathersword and that whole gulp. Drink your water and fruit salad, yummy.
That's always my question too with everybody. Like, so whoever brews the beer, does it go through a naming process through that brewer has to approve? Is there a board? Is there an association of beer namers?
Steering committee.
A steering committee.
We're not that big to have such a steering committee, but yes, we go through different forums as far as talking as a group about what we're going to name the beers. Early on, D's Nuts was named by a girlfriend of one of the patrons that was sitting at the bar.
Sure.
Got to call it D's Nuts. And next thing you know, it's called D's Nuts.
So there's a change.
Top Loaded, actually, the one you're drinking is one that we actually went to our customers and had them fill out add your email address and your contact and give us your idea of a name. And we had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different names. And there's always that, 2 or 3 that are, call it Teresa's IPA because that's my name. Obviously, we didn't go with that, but Hopped and Loaded worked really well because we're right behind a gun shop and a shooting range. And we have some pretty active people from the military, former military. It just fit our group very well. Hopped and Loaded was.
I like it.
Yeah,
and so
that's great.
this is an 8%er, correct?
This is about 7.2.
Oh,
Yeah.
7.2. Okay, so all right.
It's not heavy.
So we have been on the show trying to get someone to name a beer, 2 beer Tiffany, because Tiffany is a completely different person after 2 beers.
Especially if I haven't eaten like last week.
So just throwing in some names out there if you ever need one.
Yeah.
You shot down Teresa's IPA because
Right.
that is clearly only for Teresa.
Correct.
But a 2 beer Tiffany, that is like if you go on the internet and you search that is legitimately in Urban Dictionary.
Right.
So it's pretty official.
Yeah, but that's because I added it.
It helps to have a little bit of story background. So
That's true.
Yeah.
that's like re-engineering a beer to go with the best steak.
Oh,
it's hard to come up with a name first and then figure out a beer to go with it.
It'd have to be a Both Coasts IPA because I'm originally from California. Now I'm living in Virginia.
There you go.
I mean, we can talk offline if you're
It
interested.
could be a little hazy because after 2 beer Tiffany, she's a little hazy.
Yeah, there's so many options.
There's a lot. There's a lot that goes wrong. A lot that goes wrong. All right. How many Great American Beer Awards has 105 West Brewing won? 0, 1, 2, or 3?
Well, I'm gonna say it's probably not 0, or else this would just be rude.
First of all, this would be such a punch to those nuts if we were like, none, 0. Oh God.
So I'm just gonna go with my favorite, D.
D, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with D as well. I don't really have a lot of logic behind 0, 1, 2, or 3. Like you said, I know it's not 0.
You just like D.
For me, it also just feels rude to have anything that's maybe not. That's
I
not what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Also,
Vero tends to know the answers.
keep in mind that this is a very specific award. There are multiple other prestigious awards given within the American and then international community. So this is specifically this award.
Right.
I feel like after your just now discussion, I feel like I should specify that
I'm still going D.
for those that don't understand the award system.
D.
Okay. So
Jelly
we've got all over the board. No one has voted for 0, so that's good. Sorry.
All right. So what is it, Jelly Man? How many Great American Beer Awards have you guys won? 2? Damn it.
So what beers were they?
So 2017, I've been to probably 15 Great American Beer Festivals. I went to every one with the Rock Yard, but in 2017 was the first time that 105 West as a company entered a competition. So 2017, second award of the day, that was for the lemon rye wheat. First category, second silver medal, or first silver medal, but the second medal of the day award given away. Great way to start the day. Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially the first time submitting going to it and submitting
So
anything.
this is how it's going to be. Well, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the lemon rye wheat. And ironically enough, each time we win an award for a beer, we don't have it on tap anymore. And we have
This makes sense. Yeah.
Well, that's probably pretty common, but the second one was 2018. The 2018 was the other end of the scale. It was the end of the day, last category, fruit saison. So this is an apricot saison gold medal.
Nice.
Nice.
So
Well, I'm really upset that that's not available anymore because saisons are my jam.
Yep.
we brought it back. We brought
did
it
you?
back, and actually it had gone away pretty quick. It was pretty popular, but pretty special day. I was able to bring my dad to accept the award, and we had a great time. So,
That's very cool, man.
That is
Well,
awesome.
congratulations on both of those awards then.
Thank you.
That's killer.
whoever this Vera is, she's awesome. She does her research.
Well, she let's just say she doesn't have a job. She
Oh,
sits around
stop
all
it. She
day.
works.
She's just researching.
Daniel, you're talking about me again.
Sorry. Oh yeah, I meant Phil. Did we say Vero?
No.
Look,
Vero-
someone's got to make these graphics, you know?
for Vero as well. You're all right. True or false? The staff at 105 West Brewing work in multiple areas within the facility.
Well,
Well, he doesn't work at the bar. We
yeah,
know that about
exactly.
Jillian, so
I have one experience with this, and he doesn't work at the bar, so I'm saying false.
but I am going to say true because it's a smaller place. I'm assuming everyone wears multiple hats.
Can't wear 2 hats in the same day. That would be ridiculous.
I mean, you could.
Good. I'm consistently wrong. So thank you everyone for joining. It's been nice.
All right, Jellyman. So true, false. Tell us a little bit also about just working at 105.
Yeah, so working at 105 West pretty early on, we all worked pretty much every position.
Sure.
I did work the bar early on. I worked the homebrew shop. I worked as a brewer. Did a little bit of helping of moving, distribution. So been all over the place. So we all do different things. As we're growing, we're all finding our positions and getting our own department, so to speak, within the company as it grows. But it's growing organically, and that's awesome. Eric Seifert's our leader. He's visionary when it comes to the business, and he's not growing beyond its means too fast. So when I say organically, it's when we're ready to go, then we go bigger. We don't go there before we can do it, and before we have customers for it. So it's a great ship to be on for sure. He always says, he's former military, so it's always, always be improving your foxhole, and that's what we're always doing. Do I work the bar now? Once in a while I'll help. I love customers. Absolutely love customers, but it's not my thing. I brew beer.
So there's a good chance you could say that I was right by saying false then.
You were
guys
correct.
Started kind of compartmentalize everyone and put people where they, need to be. Yeah,
That's
I
not
think
what I
that's true.
No.
So, all right.
All right. Question.
Vero has a question for you.
All right.
She says, is it true that there's a no tipping rule at the brewery?
This is true.
Okay.
Has been.
So your beer is $17 a pint?
There is no all money left behind, all cash left behind, so to speak, goes to the charity of the month.
Very cool.
And so again, the question that often comes up when customers pay with credit card, where's the tipping on the receipt? There isn't an option because we don't accept tips.
Cool.
That's it.
So with that being said, I mean, frequently the reason that tipping exists, whether it's like wait staff or bar staff, it is because of, the wages being provided. I'm setting you up for this one. I read this one, but because of that, how are you guys mitigating that?
We're definitely paying our staff more to compensate for the fact that they don't have to depend on tips.
Very good.
With that, there's no animosity for what day of the week they get, what shift they get, location in the brewery they serve. We don't necessarily have table service, even though we have bar staff. The bar staff does go out and mingle and collect glassware and occasionally, serves beer to customers, but we don't have table service on a regular basis. So it just evens the playing field for everybody.
Yeah, which I think is a great way to handle that.
Yep.
It makes everyone work together. It's much more fun. Yeah.
Right. And I love the fact that it's right, it makes them a team. But I was gonna say it makes everybody because everyone's gonna want to work the Friday or Saturday shift or
Right.
Thursday night, right? Or like whenever you've got something happening, and this way you still have people who are like, yeah, I'll work a Monday or a Tuesday, whatever, days where you wouldn't usually have a high influx. So that's awesome.
It's been going great. Great feedback from customers. Great community. Very generous community when it comes to the different charities that we get. So,
I'm sure.
What's this month's charity?
Good question. It's like my own trivia contest.
Yeah, I know. By the way, we didn't send you that one via email, so if you're not prepared, Vero's probably or someone's already probably looking it up online.
That question came up organically.
It actually just changed, but
Okay.
it was the Douglas County land controversy convergency. But you know what? I don't know right this second. Good question. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, right.
You're welcome. That's
Good.
what we're here for.
When we edit this down, we'll just put the words over your mouth of whatever it actually was while you talk.
That's fine.
All right, so let's talk about this beer. So yeah, I'm 3/4 of the way through it.
I'm trying to baby it so we can talk about it while I
Yeah.
still have it.
Right.
So if you'll do me a favor, because Tiffany's relatively good at this, myself and Phil are relatively poor at this, in the sense of what do we get on the front end of this, on the nose of it? Like what should we be getting? What's the goal?
You should be getting citrus up front.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I can see that. Don't act like you do that.
Why don't you just tell us about this beer? Why was it made? What's going on in it?
Right. So house IPA, well loved, huge following for it. Relatively simple base grist as far as the grain that goes into it. Some crystal malt, barley, not a whole lot of complexity on the malt side, but enough malt to balance out the amount of citrus that goes into it. Our bittering hop is Columbus hops. Columbus is a great high alpha acid and multi-use hops. And then we have Chinook and Centennial and Simcoe. So all of those combined, you're going to get a really nice citrus experience. And I like to explain it as when you're eating a fruit, it's like flesh versus zest. And for a beer is bread. Either it's the gooey part or it's the crust. So this is not the crust. It's crustless white bread with the flesh of fruit on it, which is citrus.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is a very well balanced.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what it is. Like it's extremely clean across the board, smooth.
Right. Like there's no like sometimes the bitterness sometimes like will really hit you like afterwards, and it's almost, you know, as you get further down into a beer, it's almost so you can't finish it because it's just so much like bitter hoppiness. This is definitely not that. This is like continue drinking. It's still like mouth watering. Like it's very well done.
Hey, you're making Marnie's day.
We do what we can.
I try. I really just, you know, need to be social.
Staff and Marnie absolutely loves Hop and Loaded.
Nice.
This is.
We joke that it's a pretty beer.
Yeah, for me, I've been drinking like a bunch of like hazy New England IPAs lately, and I've been like, oh, I just really want just like an IPA. Like I just want a good, clean IPA,
Yeah.
and this is finally hitting what I've been wanting. So I appreciate that.
Awesome.
Yeah, and on that note, like because IPA is such a huge, it's one of the most popular beers year in and year out. There's so many different variants of it. It's always nice when you get one that's done well in like a kind of like a base, like a normal standard IPA. They're harder to come by because usually they're, you know, like a hazy tropical, which is great, but sometimes you just want the IPA, and I like
Sure.
it. It's good.
Yeah.
Right on. Thank you very much.
It's nice and pretty and clear. Anyway.
No. Yeah, I was
What we've
gonna
been
say.
looking for.
I think we've become so accustomed to like having a hazy somewhere anywhere we go because it's been so like hot on the market to have a hazy
Right.
IPA or like a double hazy
Or just
something
an
crazy.
unfiltered, even if it's not necessarily
Yeah.
a hazy, it's just
Sure.
unfiltered.
So you can't even
which
see
is-
through the glass, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's what I like to hear.
So Lucy wants to know what's the dry hop.
I'm sorry, I just dropped my beer.
That's okay.
We've all been there.
Did you spill it?
No, it was
Okay, good.
so dry hop is the same. It is the Chinook and the Simcoe and the Centennial.
Very cool.
Nice.
And Vero says, well played, Jellyman. Just putting that out there for you. So that being said, one, thank you so much for coming on. I know we emailed back and forth, and I know we probably pestered you a little bit, and I'm sure you're a busy person. So
That was
we,
on. Don't
we
worry.
really appreciate you having on, man. Like, honestly, to have another brewer, not just an owner, somebody who can actually talk about the full front to back experience of being involved in a brewery is fantastic.
Right. So, as always, before we let people go, we want to give them a minute to like talk about anything else we might have forgotten, like pitch the brewery. Do you have anything? I feel like we covered a lot, but I always
Do you
want
guys
to make
have
sure.
hats?
Yeah.
We have.
Okay. Are they flat brim trucker style?
I'm all about bartering, so
Okay.
I'll give you a hat for
Okay.
one of Phil's shirts.
Okay.
That's
We
a
can do
pretty
that.
good deal.
His
Absolutely.
beer drinker he's wearing, you know.
Okay.
I need an XL.
Got
Yeah.
We can figure that out after. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay.
it.
But you guys got anything going on coming up in the like near future? Something you want to push?
You know what? We're constantly pushing out different IPAs and pushing styles. So our seller, her name is Haley, fantastic brewer, up and coming, and everything that she puts out is a hit. So look forward to some Haley beers out there for sure.
Very cool.
Ooh, nice. Well, if you can get any of those on Beer Drop, we'll definitely put them on our list. So.
Sounds good.
Yeah, shoot us an email. Let us know. We'll have you come back and we'll drink whatever beer that is. So
Look forward to it. This is a blast. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you. Take care.
All right, cheers.